Hey guys, this is Sana here and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I give you my advice and tips on how to get a H1 in maths. I know this was requested a long time ago, but I only got the time to make it now. Before we get into this video, I hope you can follow my Instagram. You can also message me any video requests you want me to do. I will also like you to subscribe. My goal is to get 1,000 subscribers. Okay, let's get into this video. I will follow the format as just like my other Leaving Cert advice videos, which you can, watch here. I have a whole playlist on giving Leaving Cert tips. So let's get into my background. For me, maths was always a hard subject, and that is a sentiment that I can relate to a lot of you guys who find maths a challenging subject. I got a H3 when I did my Leaving Cert the first time, and then I got a H2. For me, I was very happy with the H2, and I really worked hard to get a H2, and I think you can get a H2 or H1 easily. So in this video, this is not just my advice, it's also my brother's advice who did his Leaving Cert this year, and he actually got a H1 in math. So I can actually also give you the perspective of someone who got a H1 and what to do to get to that level. So let's get into the tips and the advice. I know that's what you have been waiting for. Sorry for the delay. Again, my first advice, I like to do this with every single video, and I really believe in this, is mindset. And I think for maths, it is so crucial for people, because people usually have this mindset that you have to be born to be good at maths, or that you can never improve in maths, or maths is this hard subject. It's basically a meme at this point to be like bad at maths, or maths being a terrible subject, which I will be honest, I do enjoy some of them. But when it comes to you tackling this subject, I really hope you can get this into your head that it is just a subject, just like any other. You can improve in it, you can do well in it, and you can get a H1 in it just like any other subject. The thing with maths is that sometimes your own beliefs about it can hinder you and can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can start by thinking, I'm bad at maths, or I'm not good at maths, or somebody else can tell you this, or your teacher could be really bad and tell you you're not good at maths. And then you start believing it, that maths is this impossible subject to get a H1 in, or you are always going to fail in it. Because of then, you are not motivated to do maths homework, you're not motivated to put in that extra hour, you're not motivated to give maths tests, or you're not motivated to work hard in it just like any other subject. And then that in turn brings your grade down. And then when your grade comes down, that in turn actually makes you believe again maths is hard, and it becomes this vicious cycle. And this is true for every subject. You can apply this to a lot of things, but for maths, I've seen this firsthand. I've seen it myself at the start, and then I've seen it with my friends and my classmates, and I'm here to tell you, please try. I will link down in the comment section or other the description a video by Khan Academy called You Can Learn Anything. And I really think that video summarizes all of my mindset, and I really hope you watch it, and it really will motivate you. Okay, let's get into some practical tips. Maths. Yeah, I will start with, by giving you like note advice, I guess. With maths, it's one of those subjects that I do not mind people making notes. I made notes myself because the concepts are not like long essays. There are only like some concepts in chapters that once you learn them, you don't have much more to go for, so you can actually like make notes for those concepts. I think what will be more time consuming will be actually putting those concepts into practice, because for maths, it is so important that you do that. So how to make maths notes? I think that will depend on you or your learning style or how you want to approach maths. But for me, whenever I do not understand anything in maths, or I know I'm gonna forget, or when I was repeating, I actually made notes for all of the chapters with everything in them. Because I had this thing where, if you go through the book, it has junk of material, it has solved examples, it has questions. And that makes it seem very daunting. But actually, when you concise all of that into your notes, you end up having really not that many notes and very concise notes. And I go with the belief that I'm only gonna make notes on things that I can actually use in my exam. And by going through that filter, I actually made really concise, really short notes that were like concentrated maths to me, and that I will always go through them before the exam. Make really concise, very exam focused notes. You do not want to put in anything that might not be related to the exam. But that's only for the notes specific to maths. For maths, you will realize there's so much other things things that you first need to understand to be then able to understand the concept that's been examined. An example could be if you want to do financial maths, you first need to understand algebra, you first need to understand arithmetic, and that is not related to financial maths chapter, but you need to understand this. So you might have to actually go and learn something entirely different than what might be examined in the exam. But if that helps you understand the syllabus in the course, go for it. I would really recommend that. Also, your notes, the way I made them, I always went through my textbook, and I always highlighted the questions that were really hard and I found really hard or unique, or I think might come up in the exam, and actually put them in my notes, so that when I'm revising the chapter or when I'm learning the chapter, I actually have an example that I found hard, so that I can revise that as well and learn either from my mistakes or what I didn't know. So I really recommend that. Okay, let's go into textbooks. Again, my preferred maths textbook is Text and Test. I will put the picture here. These are very good, and I'm really sad that we bought them when I was reading. They are better than any other maths book I have come across, because their examples and their questions are very good. Also because their chapters have a lot in them that other books either omit or put in a supplement, or I just found that they had way more exam focused and way more exam relevant information than any other book. So if you have cash to spare, or if you have money or time or whatever, I recommend buying these. And if you do not, I recommend only buying the one, because they are 4 or 5 books and they are divided into topics. I only recommend you buy the one that the chapter or the topic you're finding hard. For example, if calculus is something that you're finding hard, just buy that book, and maybe don't buy the algebra book, and that could work really well. And I use these textbooks to make my notes. My next advice is please practice. It's so important that you get out of your mental block that you're not gonna good at maths, and then actually start putting in effort, because maths doesn't have essays like business or biology. It doesn't even have as much theory as physics. It has a lot more practice embedded into its concept. The concept will not become your second nature until you start using them readily. And for that, you have to start practicing maths. If math is the bane of your existence, you have to actually spend as much time as you can with it. I know if you don't like something, we like to run away from it, but if you want to do good in it, we have to spend time in it. Again, I might make some videos just related to how to actually do active study and how to actually make the most of your study time and practice time. But for now, I really recommend getting your hands on as many exam papers, mock papers, questions, as many as you can. From my personal example, my teacher when I was repeating was an amazing math teacher, and the way he did approach math was through textbook. He did every second question through each and every exercise. That's a lot of questions, and I recommend anybody who's listening to this to do the same. And then I also did almost all the exam questions for maths. I never got to the mock questions because who has that much time if you are repeating. But if you do have time and you do not have to give HBAT and if you're in 5th year or 4th year, well, hi if you're 4th and 5th year, go for the mocks as well. Just practice as much as you can. My next advice is don't be scared of failing. You have to get over your fear of failing to then do well in math. If you're struggling with maths, it's okay. And we all have some subjects we struggle with, and it's okay to not do as well as you might have thought you did or you want to do. You have to get over that. Moving on to exam papers, my advice on how to solve exam papers is I always recommend doing exam papers topics by topic. Like if you are doing algebra in class right now, do all the algebra questions. If you're doing calculus, do all the calculus questions. I really recommend you putting extra effort in the section B of maths. That's where your concepts are tested, and it doesn't matter if section A is the best section for you, because that's only where your learning is tested. It's section B where your how your thinking is tested. Spend more time on those questions. They're equal marks as section A, and once you learn to do them well, you are actually getting a lot of marks for yourself. And for questions in section B, I really recommend group study, especially for some trait questions, some volume questions that are really hard to visualize or really hard to think outside of the box, because that's what sometimes they're targeting. I really recommend going up to someone who's actually good at maths, or having a group study, or going up to a teacher just forcing yourself to actually go in and look at how other people are thinking about that question will really help you. And if you don't have friends, and that's okay, I didn't have any, if you don't have that kind of resource, you can use online resources, which I'm going to talk about a bit more later, and type in the question, and you might find similar questions or a question just like that and apply those to that question then. Another advice I want to give to people is please don't cram for maths. I am a cramming person. Like, I love cramming. I have done it all my life. I don't recommend it, but I will tell you from my own experience, it doesn't work for maths. You're not gonna leave maths to the last week of leaving cert and then magically get a H1. Maths is one of the subjects where the effort has to be put across the year. If you are watching this closer to your exams, then just start. I want you to finish watching this video. Please finish watching it. I need all the views I can. Go get your exam papers and just start. Just do it, because you cannot leave it the night before. It's not something that you think you're gonna be able to do, because these are concepts, these are high order thinking, which require some deeper networks of your brain. They are not just pure memorization that you can just cram in your short-term memory and then regurgitate it on the paper on the day of the exam. They are better be in your deeper and long-term memory, and then require you to think for a long time. Another thing that will really help you for maths is manage your time. It has happened to me so many times, and might have even happened to me in leaving cert when I was repeating. Yeah, I still haven't learned from my mistakes. That you get to section B, which is designed to be harder, which is designed to take up your time. When you get to the first question of section B, you spend all of your time on that one question that you're just not getting that one calculation right, and you're like, if I can just do this, I can move on. Don't find your strategy, how much you're going to spend on one question. After you spend it on that question, move on. Please move on. You cannot believe how many questions and how many marks you're missing out by trying to solve a question that might not be solvable for you on that time. Just move on. There's no need to think longer. If 10 minutes is your limit for one question, after it's over, move on. And that is for every single exam. Just move on. For maths, I would recommend you practicing exam questions under timed conditions, because maths is one of the subjects where you don't think about time, because you're like, if you're not going to write essays, but because you're actually thinking harder, you won't even realize where the time is going. Moving on, homework is one of the things that people like to overlook, and sometimes I will agree, because sometimes you can get really boring and easy questions from the textbook, but you can actually be doing exam questions which are more relevant to you. But for maths, I really recommend you doing all your homework, because again, it's practice and you want to get as many questions you can under your belt. So even if you are thinking, oh my god, I'm not doing any exam questions today, if your homework involves you doing a question, that's still something you're doing for maths, and just do your homework. And this is something that I've noticed a lot with maths, and has happened to me as well, where people will come to me in the morning, the homework is due, and will just copy my homework. Okay, this is not about copying homework or not, because people think of maths as such a burden, they don't even bother doing the homework. I really think if you want to get a good grade in maths, you will not be doing that. I know it's a bit harsh, but myself, and this is my brother's experience, and everybody that I met who got a H2 or H1 in maths does not copy their homework, and that is solely to the fact that copying your homework will not get you the practice you need, will not build those studying habits, will not build those good productive habits in you, and are not gonna help you find out which questions are hard and how to know where your holes are. So please avoid copying your homework and just do your homework. And if you find a question hard, and if your teacher is hard, if you didn't have time, that's okay. Like, this is not me like bashing on people, and their reasoning. I'm just saying that do not think of homework as, whatever, it's from an exam paper, I don't want to do it. Like, it's not relevant. For maths especially, they are very relevant. I've said this before as well in my other videos. Basics, very, very crucial. And I think the reason why people end up finding maths really hard is because their basics were never built. And this is something I really, really, recommend you looking into, but this is something I really agree with, and I really find Sal from Sakhan from Khan Academy, really inspiring, where he says this one thing. He says that in school we have tests or exams where if somebody gets 60 or 70%, we just move on to another topic. Whenever we get our results back, the teacher moves on to the next topic. If you got 60 in algebra, well, you should do better next time, and they move on to like calculus. But this is the thing that we don't realize. That result is telling you you've only mastered 60% of algebra. Where is the 40% of algebra content gone? And that's where the schools and the education system is not designed to do. They're not designed to make you proficient or have mastery in a subject. They're designed to move on, and then as you keep on doing this, as these topics keep on gathering and you're getting 50 in algebra, 50 in calculus, 60 in financial maths, by the end of the time, like end of your course, you end up realizing you don't understand any of the concepts because they interlink and you just haven't mastered any of the concepts. So we end up getting these hundreds of students who have no clue how to approach a math exam. And I really recommend you also getting used to this concept that when you get your result back, don't think of that as, oh, this is my level of intelligence or this is how good I am at a subject. Think of it as, I got 60% in trig, that means I need to put an effort to get that 40% in the bag. So really make sure you are filling the holes as you go along, because they make up the basics, and then those basics become complex concepts and you have no clue what's going on because those holes in your knowledge are piling up and up, and you end up waking up one day and you're like, I have no clue what's happening in maths. And by the way, if you feel like that, don't worry, we all have been there. I'm still feeling like that in college. It doesn't get better. You just have to get used to it. Whatever, just moving on. And really get the basics right. If you are finding calculus or if you are finding area volume questions hard, you're looking at this weird 3D image of a cone and it's talking about a pole and it's talking about this guy with an ice cream and it's talking about the distance between this guy with an ice cream and this pole, and you have to calculate what he ate in the morning, and you're like, I have no clue what's happening here. And you'll be right if you do, because this is not a maths question. You have to break that topic down and go down to the basics. Okay, if you are finding this hard, go learn the basic arithmetic, go learn the basic volume and area questions, and then build it up to that complex level. Don't be scared of the complex. You have to focus on the basics and then build it up, okay? Yeah. Last but not least, I'm just gonna list off some of the resources that I've used, and I really recommend you guys using as much, whatever you have your hands on, just use them. Don't be disheartened if you can't, if people are getting grinds and you're not getting grinds, or you don't have one resource. If you don't have that, move on and go to the resource that you already have. And for me, one of my biggest resources was e-learning, internet. I learned majority of the things through the internet, and for math especially, just typing any topic you're finding hard on YouTube and then watching videos and watching somebody else explain it can really help you, because some people out there are so much better than what we have in our schools. Some of my favorite creators are, again, I keep on talking about Khan Academy, Math BFF, and I've also used StudyClicks, but that's not for just math. I've used it for like every subject. But go out there, look, internet is a huge thing, and you will find something just related to you. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you like this video. I know it's a bit late and it's also a bit long, and if you are still watching, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. This video also means a lot to me because I wished I had somebody like give me these tips and advice when I was struggling with maths, and I really want you all to understand that it's okay. Like, you don't have to feel like you're alone. We've all been there. I struggled a lot with maths, and I'm here already. I'm in college. You can do it as well. I just want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to believe in yourself, and I really want you to take it slow, gradual, and just keep on working at it, and one day you will get there. I hope you like this video. If you have any other suggestions, comment them down below. And if you have any math related question or any other question, just put them down below. I answer almost all comments because I don't get that many and have a lot of free time. No, actually. Follow my Instagram if you want to connect with me, and if you want to follow me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood.